Inside Hilltopper Athletics is brought to you by Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration.
All right, welcome to Inside Hilltopper Athletics Baseball Edition. After opening weekend, I'm Jacob Davey, joined by head coach Eric Burkle. Coach, opening weekend in the books. How you feeling?
Pretty good. I mean, better than years past. I mean, 1-3 doesn't look the greatest for a record at this point, but pretty productive weekend. As the weekend went on, we got better.
Yeah.
So we knew the guys bought into what we were doing and what we intend to do. So now it's just a matter of we've got Malone this week, so now let's get better again this week, and then let's keep prepping for that Mountain East schedule.
Yeah, we were talking off the air a little bit. 1-3 doesn't, you said, look the best on paper, but playing a team that's from the South, been outside practicing, they already had a weekend series in, and you talked about just improving each game and pretty much taking this weekend to look at yourselves, not really the competition.
Yeah, and they, Union didn't necessarily return a whole lot, but they do have a new manager. Yeah. They have a former big league guy that he doesn't mess around. He was fun to coach against, fun to talk to. He's got it going in the right direction there. So we had our hands full. Offensively, they can swing it. Our pitching staff held up pretty good. We had a couple little flaws. We had one guy that would get ahead to 0-2 and decide to hit the bull a few times, way ahead in the count. But other than that, we got great performances out of like Stephen Graby, who an injury a few years ago hasn't really played in almost 4 years.
Yeah. And
he comes out and he shuts an offensive team like that down for 4 innings. I mean, that was huge. Bryce Winter stepping into a West Lib uniform for the first time.
Picking up the win, yeah.
Picking up the win, and we have that little tradition here where the winning pitcher gets the game card. So we kind of surprised him with that. So each day we got better.
Yeah.
So
that was the main goal, right, going down?
Yes, absolutely. Obviously, realistically, the goal for us as coaches, hey, let's go down and split. Right. But by the end of the weekend, winning the last one sent us home.
For sure.
The 11-hour bus ride was easier.
Yeah. I bet so, yeah. So we'll get into the games. We'll talk Friday it was, right? Yep, yeah. Opening day. 12-7 loss, 7-3 loss. Competitive games, but how'd you feel?
Very competitive. I mean, we'd get ourselves back in a game, and then we would let them right back in it. Our big thing is once we score a run, let's get a shutdown inning. We weren't able to do that, and that's where we'd get back in the game. I think that first one may have been 9-8. We were close, and then it just kind of slipped away. And then same thing in the middle game. I think at some point they scored 4 runs in the 8th. And it just – those late innings killed us. But our guys never quit. They stayed with it. I mean, it was from the bullpen to guys on the bench. We remanaged the game a little bit. Yeah. We started taking shorter stints for pitchers. We started rolling out some pinch hitters and some defensive changes early in games so that we could try to get to where we needed. And it worked well for us, so we're probably going to continue with that.
And then start the Saturday, tough one early. You said the late score from Union. And then what was the message to the team, heading into that fourth game?
The fourth game was, we know that we can play with this team, and now it's still a nice day. We're not in class. We're not on the hilltop. Let's have some fun here, but let's salvage something out of this. And then, ending game 3 with Stephen Graby, giving you 4 scoreless innings.
Kind of built some momentum going into it. Yeah,
that was huge. And then, then we give the ball to Bryce. And, first time we had really seen Bryce throw live other than in the facility. Mm-hmm. And he's got a 1-hitter through 4.
Yeah.
And then, then we went straight to a freshman. Hey, freshman, Brady Harmon, we need you to finish this inning. And when you finish this inning, we're going straight to our closer and Trevor Thomas. And Trevor came in. He's a tough kid. He gets angry at himself. And he just came in and decided, hey, I'm going to put this team on my back, and we're going to finish this. And it was great. Mm-hmm. It was a great ball game, 7-3, and they're still in it with 2 outs in the 9th. So it was – they had me worried.
For sure. Bryce had that 1-hitter through 4, but your offense couldn't really break the ice, so to say, until the top of the fifth. So what kind of did you see to?
The fifth inning for us was crazy. First of all, it was one of the few times we got the leadoff guy on. So I immediately go to a fifth-year senior, Zach Hawkins, and we put the bunt on. He doesn't get it. Instead, he decides to lace a double into right center. So
well, if you're not going to get the bunt down, that's what you got to do, right?
So yes, not only am I cussing him,
yeah,
I'm applauding him at the same time. And when he gets to third, and I said, "And you missed the bunt," and he was just like, "No, I didn't. No, I didn't. Yeah, you did." Mm-hmm. But to put 6 runs on there, we threw an insurance run with a squeeze that we missed the first pitch, and then we come back with it the second pitch and run it. Everything
so
that
you
inning
went
went
back squeezes too.
Yeah, the way I was giving signs that day, the guy at the plate couldn't really see it. Luckily, the guy at third, who was looking right at me, didn't notice that I put the squeeze on either.
Oh, so he didn't break. Okay.
Yeah, so
you bought an extra play.
And luckily, it worked out because Jake Sherman is a left-handed guy, so he knew the squeeze was on because Nodrin's running down the line at him, so he could see it. And it was perfect bunt, and that was just that insurance run to make it, instead of 6-3, now it's 7-3. And now you have a little bit more breathing room. And that, all weekend you waited for something to go our way.
Right.
And that inning had happened.
Yeah. Yeah, like I talked to Coach Ryan a little bit. He said hitting balls hard, but they were just getting caught, right?
Yeah, and we hit some balls that would have been out of Kovalik Field. Down there, the wind was blowing dead into our first base dugout from center field, and it was blowing about 15 miles an hour. Ball was not traveling.
Yeah.
So it was a day when we had to figure out how to score runs, and we did, which was fun. It was fun to see them respond in the manner that they did. Now they know they can win and play with the team from down south. Now let's see what they can do with some teams up here in the north.
For sure. And then Union answered with the 3 runs in the bottom of the fifth, to still make it a game. So it's got to be good to see as a coach those competitive games, not just running away with the game, but being able to battle them punching you back in the face and then going right back.
Yeah, whether we were winning in the game in Game 4 or we were losing in the first 3, these guys never quit. They realized, hey, we can score runs in bunches.
Yeah.
We've got enough team speed. We've got enough ability to do it. So they didn't lay down at any point, which was probably the best part of the weekend. The pitching staff and the best part of the weekend, we knew certain guys were going to hit. We knew that Helmke, Talbert, Sherman, James Salvatore were going to lead us in hitting in opening weekend. And they did. Right. But then we mixed in some decent pitching, and it helped.
Yeah. Talk about that strong offense. Helmke 3 for 3 in the win. Sherman 1 for 1, but had the sack bunt. And
in the first game, Sherman started off 3 out of 4.
Right.
Him and Talbert go 3 out of 4 in the 2-3 hole, which was, they carried us in Game 1. Helmke, listen, after the year he had last year, when he started, I believe, 0 for 16. Mm-hmm. So now it's in his head. To have him have a start like this, like we all breathe a sigh of relief.
Yeah.
Now we know which tie's back. So it'll be fun to watch him have a good senior year.
Then you talked about the pitching staff. On paper, maybe not the best, runs allowed stuff, but then you find some stats like we talked about, the more strikeouts than walks. Saw some good things from that pitching staff.
The biggest thing was the walks were down as compared to years past. The negative side on the pitching staff, there was still some free bases.
Yeah.
There was some wild pitches. There was, I believe Union was 14 for 14 stolen bases. And that was not, that is nothing against our catching staff. Mm-hmm. At one point.
14, no caught. Yep.
Yeah, there was, Zach Hawkins was catching. We had a pitcher on the mound that was 1-8 to the plate, and Zach made it close. And that's almost impossible to do. So all 14 of those are probably on our pitching staff. So yesterday's bullpens were a race to the plate. Let's get it down to 1-2, 1-5, or 1-2, 1-2-5 to the plate. And they worked at it.
Right.
And there's some guys that realize they're slow to the plate. So they're going to work on it because we know Malone's going to run. We know Charleston's going to run. So that's something that we need to work on as a pitching staff.
It's good to see that, though, early in the season, be able to work on it and hopefully be adaptive to the change once conference play turns around, right?
Yeah, normally we go 2 or 3 mounds in the facility for bullpens. Yesterday we put all 5 mounds out. We had 5 guys going at a time, and I'm yelling out times with a stopwatch, just going up and down the line. And guys, they're working it. they know that 13 stolen bases is going to kill us.
Yeah.
So they're trying to work it.
Talked about some of the big names, the big hitters, a couple good pitcher performances. Any like unsung heroes you would say on the opening weekend?
We threw a freshman and Brady Harmon to the Wolves. Trevor Thomas is a rookie at the Hilltop, but he's also a third-year college guy. Drake Dobson moved into a starting role. Did okay. Yeah. We got kind of what we expected. Now if we can just get him under control with 2 strikes, because 0-2 guys that reach base will kill you. Right. And you will have Coach Burkle in your locker with you. There you go. 0-2 and then hit the bull. That's, I'll be waiting for you at your locker. I think our 2 third basemen that platooned, Ethan Conley and Noah Mildren, they got the nerves out of the way. Yeah. I think there was about 5 errors there, but by the end of the weekend they had it cleaned up pretty well. Again, Graby, you can't beat what Graby did coming back from an injury. Mm-hmm. That was huge. Graby had a nice college debut. Especially in a game where,
you were down and could have just came in and said, I'm just trying to get us through, but did his performance.
And he knew, him and I had talked, that his first outing for West Liberty was going to be a win-win situation for both of us, to where neither one of us are going to get hurt. If he goes out and that score balloons into something that we can't handle, we still win. Graby's back on the mound. But when he goes out and we both get huge wins out of it, where he's got 12 straight outs or 12 shutout outs, now we've got to, now we know that we can extend Stephen Graby and that he's going to get more innings.
Right. And then looking ahead, preparing for Malone coming up this next weekend.
Yep. We started on the scouting reports today, printed out all the charts. They play on the Mountain East Network this weekend, so we'll be watching that. We know they're going to run. We know that they're a small ball club. We play them every year. Record isn't very good against them, so that's one of the personal goals and one of the team goals is to not allow that Malone series to dictate our year.
Yeah, well, you had some good weather days getting out in practice from Tennessee. How was the weather down in Tennessee?
It was decent.
Yeah.
It was cold the first night, but when I tell you it was cold, it was 40, and we would take that up here in a heartbeat, but we were freezing, but it was okay. We're under the lights down south. It was fine. And then for the first time this early in February, we were on our dirt 2 days ago. So it was a good week for us. We got a lot done. We got a lot of field work done. We got a lot of preparation work done. And we started with an entire week to prep for Malone to where we can start to get this thing ready to go.
Right. Overall, the team feeling good, getting opening weekend out of the way, kind of, finally playing games?
I think so. I think we're right where we need to be. There's some guys that maybe not happy with their performance, but it was week 1. We don't have too many of those guys, though. There's some guys that failed, but nobody failed astronomically that, we just ended a career.
Right.
Everybody's coming back next week and ready to work on Malone and then get ready for UPJ, a little home series for us coming up. So
there you go. Yep, taking things to work on each week and then trying to continue the things you did well, right? That's the main goal.
Obviously, March 18 and 19 when we leave for West Virginia State and Charleston, that's when it gets real for us. So these prep weeks, they're nice to win, but we need to get work done also.
For sure. All right, Coach. Well, thanks for joining us. Pretty good opening weekend overall.
Yes.
Coach Burkle, thanks for joining us. It is Inside Hilltopper Athletics Baseball Edition. They'll be back in action next weekend at Malone. You can catch all the live coverage links on hilltoppersports.com.
Thanks, Jacob.
Disasters happen. Pick the team that takes care of them all. Powered by offices in Wheeling, Morgantown, and Pittsburgh, Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration is ready to handle any size emergency at a moment's notice. We have the right people, knowledge, and equipment to respond 24 hours a day.
I'm Danny Irwin. When disaster strikes your home or business, tell your insurance provider you prefer the restoration company the Hilltoppers call Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration.